Good morning, everyone. I am Francis Peñaranda, an instructor from Northern Iloilo State University. Today, I'm excited to present my research entitled Pre-Service Elementary Teachers' Views on Implementing Critical Pedagogy in Music Education, a case study. So this study was conducted between January and March 2024. I would like to emphasize that this presentation represents just a segment of a broader study focused on the implementation of various approaches and pedagogies in music education. The overarching goal of this research is to contribute to the holistic, interactive, and culturally responsive music education. By examining the different educational strategies, we aim to enhance the effectiveness of music teaching practices and ensure they are inclusive and transformative. So this case study explores the perception of pre-service teachers regarding the implementation of critical pedagogy in teaching music education. Critical pedagogy is rooted on the works of Paulo Freire, emphasized the role of education in promoting social justice and empowering students to challenge and transform societal structures. In music education, this approach seeks to move beyond traditional methods to engage students in critical thinking and active participation. Critical pedagogy theory advocates for a participatory and dialogical approach to education where teachers and students are collaboratively engaged in learning process. This framework is particularly relevant in examining how pre-service teachers perceive the integration of critical pedagogy in their future classroom experience, especially in a subject like music, which can be a powerful medium for societal expressions and transformation. Despite the recognized potential of critical pedagogy to foster transformative educational experience, there is a limited research on how pre-service teachers perceive its integration, particularly in the context of music education. The research problem addressed in this study is the gap on the understanding on how future educators view the practical application of critical pedagogy in their teaching practices, specifically in the context of music education. Additionally, there is a need to identify the benefits and challenges these pre-service teachers foresee in implementing such an approach. So this study aims to fulfill the research gap by providing the insights into the attitudes, beliefs, and experiences of BE-Ed's pre-service teachers concerning critical pedagogy in music education. To comprehensively explore the integration of critical pedagogy in music education, the research sought to address the following questions. Firstly, how do Bachelor of Elementary Education or BE pre-service teachers perceive critical pedagogy in the context of music education? What do BE pre-service teachers identify as the benefits of implementing critical pedagogy in music education? What challenges do BE pre-service teachers face in applying critical pedagogy in their future music classroom? And finally, how do BE pre-service teachers envision integrating critical pedagogy into their music teaching practices? A qualitative case study design was employed to gain in-depth insights into the perceptions of pre-service teachers. This approach allowed for a comprehensive understanding of their attitudes, beliefs, their experiences related to critical pedagogy in music education. The participants included 9 pre-service teachers enrolled in teacher education program in one of the campuses of Northern Iloilo State University in Iloilo, Philippines. These participants were selected through purposive sampling to ensure they had taken teaching music in the elementary grades, an elementary education course related to music education. Data were collected through semi-structured interviews, focus group discussions, and reflective journals. These methods provide rich, descriptive data of the participants' perceptions and experiences. This study used the thematic analysis approach as described by Braun, Clark, and Hayfield. The interview and discussions were transcribed and reflective journals were reviewed. Key themes in were identified through coding and categorizing the data with a focus on the participants' understanding of critical pedagogy, its perceived benefits and challenges, and its application in music education. And for the findings, understanding of critical pedagogy. So most pre-service teachers demonstrated a basic understanding of critical pedagogy, recognizing its approach that promotes critical thinking and student empowerment. They associated it with creating a more inclusive and participatory classroom environment. Participants highlighted several benefits of applying critical pedagogy in music education, including: first, students are more engaged when they can relate music to their personal experiences and societal issues. Secondly, encourages students to analyze and question the content and the context of music they study. And finally, students feel empowered to express their identities and perspectives through music. Despite recognizing its benefits, participants also identified challenges in implementing critical pedagogy. First, existing curricula are often rigid and content-heavy, leaving little room for critical pedagogy approaches. Next, traditional assessment methods do not always align with the objectives of critical pedagogy. And finally, pre-service teachers felt they need more training and resources to effectively apply critical pedagogy. Participants also provided examples on how they might integrate critical pedagogy in their music classroom, and this includes: first, encouraging students to discuss and reflect on the societal and cultural context of music they study. Next, allowing students to create music that address societal issues or express their personal experiences. And finally, promoting a group work and peer teaching to foster a sense of community in shared learning. The research findings suggest that while BEd pre-service teachers recognize the potential of critical pedagogy to transform music education, they also face significant challenges in its implementation. Theoretical understanding must be accompanied by practical training and curricular support to enable these future educators to effectively integrate critical pedagogy into their teaching practices. So this case study highlights the importance of preparing pre-service teachers to apply critical pedagogy in music education. Teacher education program must address the challenges identified by participants, providing the necessary resources and support to foster an educational environment where critical pedagogy can thrive. By doing so, we can empower future educators to create a more inclusive, engaging, and transformative music education experiences for their students. Based on the results of the study, the following recommendations is advanced. Advocate for curriculum changes that allow for a more flexible and inclusive teaching approaches. Next, offer workshops and training sessions focused on critical pedagogy and its practical application in music education. Next, develop and disseminate teaching materials that support the implementation of critical pedagogy in music education. And finally, conduct future research on a long-term impact of critical pedagogy on the student outcomes in music education. And these are my references, and thank you so much for listening. This is again Francis Avance Peñaranda of Northern Iloilo State University, and padayon kita tanan.